Hello, good evening, all, good evening, and welcome. It's 10 o'clock here in the UK, and we're just waiting for Angela to come on. I hope you're all well and doing okay. We're just waiting for her to come on. I hope you are doing okay. Yeah. So, anyway, so it's Friday night, so what you doing on Friday night? Are you having a drink like me? Or are you just relaxing in front of the TV and etc. Hello.
How are you doing?
Hang on. Fine, thank you. How are you?
Excellent. We got connected. This is great. I'm doing great. Enjoying this
Good.
wonderful weather, wonderful summer-like weather we're having here is excellent. We're having a little bit of thunderstorm weather warnings with wind, etc., on and off here, but hey, it's wonderful out. How are you doing?
I'm alright. Yeah, really busy at the moment. Yeah, really good. Bit hot.
Excellent.
It's it's been hot over here, so I'm struggling at the moment with the heat. So
Yeah.
I just thought I have a quick drink. So
I lost you for a moment there.
yeah, I've just got to. I was just having a quick drink. You know, cool drink. I don't usually do it, but I am now. I'm really. Anyway, Angela.
Yes.
I've got lots of people watching tonight on my podcast and my website, and we've got a lot of questions to go through. So, what
Oh, I
I'm
love
going to do,
that.
what I'm going to do tonight, we're going to do questions and answers. Is that all right?
Oh, that's perfect. I'm going to close this window. There's a lot of wind happening here. It's going to get
All right.
loud. Oh, I love that question period. That's fun. Hello, everyone. Okay, this is better. Yeah. Okay,
All right.
fire away.
Fire away.
You got it.
Um, Angela, why did you go into music for?
Because I loved how music felt. I was very, very young. I wasn't even in school yet. And every time I heard live music, I got extremely excited. And my grandparents were musicians and their brothers and sisters. And on both sides, they were musicians. My grandmother on my mother's side was an opera singer. Part of what she did, she could sing opera. My grandfather, my father's father, played fiddle, stand-up bass, and piano, and his wife played piano. All his brothers and sisters played, and he maintained being a musician for many years in bands. And he has awards for fiddle contests. He was really, really a good musician and recorded too. So I was able to grow up hearing beautiful music. And I started when I was 3, but I started lessons when I was 5. So when I heard my grandparents doing music, or anyone else, and we had a piano in our home, of course, from my great grandmother, my father's great grandmother had a piano, and so it was passed down. So I was exposed to it very young by family, right? And it got me very, very excited. It made me smile. I saw other people smiling, and I just wanted to be engulfed in music. Basically, that's how that worked. I always knew I'd want to be a musician. I always knew I would do music, and I started out by ear. And uh, music's very powerful. And for me, I always wanted to be in music. So it just sort of pretty much spoke what my career would be.
Okay. Who is your idol in music?
There's more than one. There's more than one
Right.
because I love classical and I love contemporary. I absolutely love the piano playing of Ashkenazi, Vladimir Ashkenazi. I love how he plays Chopin. I love how he interprets. There's a perfection, there's a wonderful playing. And as a pianist on the classical end of things, I love that. Of course, everyone loves Horowitz and these wonderful greats, but there's something very pure, delicate, and I guess you could say a signature, this very, very important signature he puts on his recordings. You instantly know that's Vladimir Ashkenazi instantly. And so I love that. And in the pop side, as a vocalist, I think I love Celine Dion. As a
Oh yeah.
songwriter, I think Paul McCartney. And I also think some of the songwriters in the folk, there's a few of them that I think they're like my idols. Some of the older songwriters. So there's not just one. I love the craft of songwriting. I love a wonderful voice, and I love the piano.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's interesting because one idol for me, for sure, a producer would be Alan Parsons. Alan Parsons, because he put into his music the pop, the rock, but also with classical influences of orchestration. And it's amazing because that duo never had to tour, and they were all around the world, and it was very rare at the time. I don't know if you're familiar. He does a lot of the sound reinforcement and engineering, and teaches as well as tours around. But
All
yeah,
right.
those would
Okay.
be my idols. The
Okay.
songwriters, we're not going to narrow it down, except maybe in the folk a little
Yeah,
bit, in the
yeah.
pop. Yeah.
Okay. Brian wants to know.
I'm sorry,
Um,
say that one more time.
sorry. Um, Brian wants to know.
Hi, Ryan.
What instruments can you play?
Piano, keyboards, clarinet, bass clarinet, a little bit of flute. We'll sort of count that because I didn't stick with it, and soprano sax. And I write for everything. So when you're educated in music composition and arrangement, you learn how instruments are, and you don't necessarily have to be playing the instrument to write for it. So I write for everything, but the ones that I play would be the woodwinds and, of course, the soprano sax. I actually just got a digital drum kit, and I know piano is a rhythm instrument. I can play a little bit on the drums. I can write for drums, not like a drummer would. I can get away with it. It's probably one of my greatest weaknesses in music because you got to be a drummer, you're not. So now I have a digital drum kit here in the house. It's kind of put away right at the moment, but I want that to lay down a few things. I can play a few licks in it. I guess we're not going to count that, but I love rhythm.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We all do, don't we?
Yeah.
Um, where do you see yourself? Sorry. Where start again, Steve? Where do you see your music career in 10 years? And that is from Beverly.
Hi, Beverly. I see my career in a larger audience, a larger fan base, a larger room to play. I'm doing a lot of online, but I've done a lot of shows as well. So I'm opening back up now to doing some things in the physical world, live in person rather than only online as well. I see myself making better records, you know, better songwriting, better voice, always growing, larger fan base. I want large tours. Yeah, I just want to keep going.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Clive wants to know,
Hi, Clive.
which instrument is your best favorite to play?
Piano.
Right.
Piano for sure. You have the orchestra at your fingertips, and when you are playing acoustic piano, because I have many keyboards right in my little studio here, but acoustic piano, it's a live instrument, so you're getting all these overtones from all the strings. And our hearing changes every day. The humidity and pressure changes in the air. As a singer, you hear yourself differently. We actually hear ourselves differently even when we speak. So the piano changes every day too, because the wood's expanding and contracting. And so basically, you have a different instrument every day. The harmonics, everything changes. So you don't hear the same sound that you would hear if you play a keyboard, even though your ears change every day. It's not the same because it's always growing, it's going in and out of tune. So I kind of like the fact that you have to craft how you're playing around how the instrument's changing. I think that's my favorite, the piano for sure. And just live in the house, or on a stage, live music. That's why I became a musician, was because of how music made me feel.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well done. Christine wants to know, what would you say is your greatest strength as an artist?
Greatest strength as an artist. Ooh, there is a question. I think communicating emotion in the piano. I think that, and it doesn't matter the style. Mostly I will put it into the classical though, for the fact that there are no words there. So I'm playing just the music. I think my greatest strength is communicating, pushing
Right.
feelings in the sound of the piano in the songs. Yeah.
Okay. Who inspired you to make music?
Okay. I remember I could say my grandparents, but it was actually, you mean make music as in just creating it or writing music?
Yeah, writing, creating.
Writing. I was inspired. We had someone over at our house, and because we had the grand piano that was my great grandmother's, my father's grandmother, uh, somebody came and they played the piano. I was very, very young, and it was amazing. And I was jumping up and down on the cushion of a couch, excited by the way that made me feel. And I was like, I want to do this. I want to do this. My brother was taking lessons, I remember, and I wasn't quite in school yet. I started grade one when I was 5, and I would go and I'd play by ear, play some of the stuff he was doing in his lessons. But this one guy, his name was Brian, he was just playing and rocking out the piano. And it was so exciting to me. And I was like, I got to make music. I got to make music. I have to do this. This feels so good. And so I began to really sit down and play then. Because I had started playing when I was 3. We had the piano, but I was just sort of curious. I'd move around on it. But that moment was when I made that decision. It was when I saw him and the excitement and what it made me feel. I was jumping up and down on a couch and I was like, whoa, I just want to be engulfed in all this music. And I remember that very clearly. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Wayne wants to know what is
Hi,
your
Wayne.
sorry, skipping the question, you know. How would you describe the music that you typically create? Sorry about how would you
Energy. I would describe it with energy.
right,
I don't
okay.
mean necessarily high energy, but there's a lot of energy. There's good energy in what I write. And I move around because I'll write classical, but I'll write contemporary. Or not, sometimes I'll write a dance tune. I did a club tune for a trailer. I don't think I write too much country, but I'll write contemporary, middle of the road, pop, maybe moving in Broadway, classical, maybe a little new agey, a little bit of rock, power ballads. I would describe it, there's good energy in the music because I like melody. So I like diatonic melodies, and diatonic melodies, they tend to resolve. There's always a resolve at some point.
Mm.
Because my melodies move around, uh, I don't want to say extreme, but they're pretty melodies that you can pull vocals out of and just play them. And to me, that's really good energy. So I would describe my music as good energy. Energy.
Okay, brilliant. Um,
Hey,
if you had
hi,
one
Larry.
singer, if you had one singer
Mhm.
that you could be in concert with and open the show for, who would it be?
Gina Vanelli.
Right, okay, got
I
that.
mean, I would love to say Celine Dion, but as soon as she opened her mouth, I probably wouldn't want to sing beside her because she's so good, But Gino Vanelli, I've always loved him. A wonderful Canadian singer, songwriter, and he just was a big star in the late '70s, early '80s, and he's still singing. But what a wonderful voice! I don't know if you know who that is, but if you get a chance, check out the titles, "The Wheels of Life" and "I Just Want to Stop," and "People Got to Move," and great. He did Black Horses and yeah,
All
Dark
right,
Horse. I can't remember if that was the
okay, I
title.
will, I will, I will look up, I will look them up.
Yeah.
Um, what is the most useless talent you have?
My most useless talent. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Oh my goodness. Okay. Useless talent.
By the way, that didn't come from me. That came from Graham from Ohio.
Hi, Graham. Talent is a funny word. It kind of contradicts being useless. Let me think. I don't even know how to answer that, but I'm going to answer it. So give me a second here while I think about the most useless talent. Okay. I can reproduce something with pastels. So if there's a picture, I could remake it, but I don't do anything with it. And I really don't know what to do it because I don't create anything on the fly. I could just replicate what you have there. So that to me would be useless because what am I doing with it? Nothing.
Right. Okay. Um, Rob wants to know, um, do you sing in the shower, and what song do you sing?
I don't usually sing in the shower, but if I do a little lick of a tune, it'll be dum da dum dum dum, something completely mindless, and it probably ends there. And that's about it. I don't usually sing in the shower.
Right. Okay. Let's move on. What would you be? What would you be doing right now if you wasn't in your music career?
Wow.
Yeah. So what would you be doing now if you wasn't in a music career?
I would be doing more than one thing because I do more than one thing now.
You like to
Haha.
keep yourself busy, don't you?
Yeah, I do. And I like to learn.
Yeah.
And I love to scuba dive and I can teach scuba diving. What would I be doing? I wouldn't stick with one thing because I don't think I ever have. And I'm very technical too. And I can fix things electronic wise. And I love to write. I might probably write, you know, but I also like to help people. So somewhere in there, I probably would do something along those lines because it would
Okay.
hold purpose. As healing as music is, I might maybe move in that direction. I think it holds more life purpose. If you take away the music and the arts, I don't know, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Where we are? Oh yeah. Where have you? Sorry. Where have you performed, and what is your favorite venues, or do you not have any favorite venues at all?
I've performed in several places in Canada because I've been in three different provinces here. I've performed in the United States. I've performed on cruise ships. I performed in a couple of foreign countries, in several of the cruise ships around Disney, Carnival, and Holland America. We went on a trip. I got to perform in Cuba, in Costa Rica. Let me think, am I missing anywhere? Favorite venue? I love a union room. But to me, it's about the people that you're performing to. So sometimes your favorite room is like this awesome night you might have had. It might be a quieter room, it might be a crazier room, but it's the people. It's not just the music, it's the exchange back and forth. So the room will change. It would depend on what happened. I like seeing people happy. And when you bring people to a certain level and you just kind of make the performance about them, you bring them in like a piano bar sing along, or you're on a stage and you're performing and it's all perfectly running exactly with good energy and happy faces. It could be a larger room or a smaller room. It really depends. It's the exchange that is my favorite, not necessarily the room, you know.
Okay. Okay.
Because
Good.
I can practice for myself. I could play. I could be in a room where it's silent, you're performing, and it's like, well, no, no, no. I want there to be something happening out there too. That I'm kind of like that. I don't want it super
Mm,
quiet only. I'm not all about having the silent room while you perform. Whether it's a lot of loud music happening or you have a moment where it's silent and then they're able to come forward. To me, audience is really important. Some interaction is important to me. So that venue depends on that fun stuff. Yeah.
yeah, that keeps on coming up all the time. Every time we do these interviews, because you're like order, you care about your audience, don't
hmm
you?
hmm Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, people are fun. What do we do without people? What do you do without the relationships you have without people? You can't be by yourself.
No,
I'd be
no,
locked in a room all the time just doing something for me. But,
yeah,
those are the perfect performances nobody sees when you're practicing, right?
yeah, totally agree. Yeah. Um, and James here now. He's
Hi,
saying,
James.
um, how do you feel the internet has impacted on the music industry?
I think that it gave musicians a better chance of being an entrepreneur because your success is going to be determined on how you're willing to learn enough to grow. And why I say learn enough is because it keeps changing. Every 6 months, something happens, and you're your strategy has to change according to what's trending or what's working for your fan base and the market and the genre. And I think that you can't do it alone. We can't do this alone. So uh, the internet has allowed for you to branch out. Like, look at us. We're talking miles apart, countries apart. Uh, Referrals are everything. Engagement is everything. My numbers increased in the streaming because of the internet. I mean,
Mm,
the streaming is the internet. But the point I'm making is that because I'm performing on the internet,
mm.
my numbers increase.
Great, brilliant. Well
Yeah.
done. Well done. Um, what is your favorite song to perform?
Mm.
That got you thinking, innit?
Well, you know what? It used to be original music, and I change my mind sometimes, so I'll alternate. Sometimes my original songs, but other times other people's music. I think I love Run to You by Whitney Houston. I
Mm,
love to sing that.
yeah.
But I also have a reaction. My fiance loves it, so I get to sing it for him. So you see, there's that audience thing.
Does he
Uh,
does he run to you?
yeah, he runs to me. Yeah, I think we run to each other too.
Oh, that's
That's
lovely.
funny.
That's
Um,
lovely.
I think that right now is one of my favorites. But I also love go-to song. Some of the stuff that's out right now. Like Dua Lipa. She did this Elton John. I think it's 5 songs in one.
All right. Okay.
It's a great song, but it's all Elton John. And I'm like, hey, I love how he did that because I really love dance music too. So I'm funny that way. So my
Yeah.
favorite will run around where there's good energy with rhythm.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, Mike wants to know,
Hi, Mike.
uh, what is the most trouble you ever gotten into?
Oh, that's funny. Should I say that online here? I don't know. No, I'm just kidding.
Carry
Um, okay, I'll be very, very, I won't say cryptic, but I will tell you that you got to be careful who you meet because
Yeah.
sometimes you can be sitting in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah.
And people can do some really, really crazy things because you just happen to be there. And I think that would be an example without giving you the details on it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that would be a good example. Be
Okay.
careful where you go. You could be in a beautiful setting and just the wrong person comes and sits down on your piano bench. You just never know.
Right.
And,
Okay.
and
Yeah,
okay.
we won't carry on with that. We got to be
Yep.
careful who's out there. Right. Okay. Um, if you could change anything about the music industry, what would it be?
Okay. I would change the idea that to be an entrepreneur as a musician, you have to go digging around to find out how to do these things. And not only allow the majority of how to learn how to do social media marketing for music, how to do your releases, how to set up your business. I would want that sitting there plastered in areas in the apps that you go into that you're utilizing for the business. Because if they did that, they'd make money in their advertising. Because the reality is you're going to make money if you send out ads. And the reason you will is because as soon as an app sees that you would like to push something forward and do some business, they go, okay, well, me too. So I have an algorithm. I'm going to stop you now unless you give me some money. But the musicians who are trying to figure this out, they don't get to that part until they go through the pain to get to where they realize that that is what you need to do. So I would like to see free information that is free anyway to you, plastered within every app in detail for the music business so that the entrepreneurs can just turn around and create a whole other new form of industry. And we've done that. I mean, it sounds very strange to say that, but unless you're connected to a major, some of the curators won't immediately throw you on somewhere on the playlist, and including favoring to the larger businesses unless you're showing some numbers that are legit. It's going to be very, very difficult for you to break through. Yet at the same time, you want to keep money moving. So in this industry, as long as you keep money moving, the more popularity happening, the more dollars are moving, if you really analyze it. So if they teach musicians really quickly in every app you're going into, do these things, set them up now, and it's just set in there for you to go in as free information rather than having to seek it out, basically the industry is going to bring in a lot more money because as a songwriter, musician, artist, whatever capacity you're in the industry, you're going to have at your fingertips not the old business but the new music business without having to go through several months of, okay, well, how do you do this? You've got to seek it out. They're not teaching this the same in a school, right? And in fact, a lot of colleges were advising you not to go into music as an industry for a career, music industry for a career. I found that and I was like, whoa, don't do that. Don't discourage people. At the same time, if you take a look at the top people on the charts, there's money backing them, or they came in with money. If you take a look, very very close look, so that tells you, okay, if you want to make something here, put some money in. But in order to get to that step, you don't want to just come in with a demo. That's old news. You want to come in with some kind of engagement. You want to come in there with something happening within your profile, something showing that you've taken the initiative to do something, because nobody's going to look at you if you're not already running your own business, basically, unless a lot of luck comes your way and a lottery came your way and somebody's actually going to not only do a 360 deal with you, but actually pick you up and do something. You still got to pay that money back. You still got to
Yeah.
be that entrepreneur. You still got to run a business. But in order to find out how to do this, that old style of the recording industry doesn't exist anymore. And I came from that. I was in a studio for 4.5 years in Edmonton. Damon Soundtrack Studios, a double platinum studio. They had record companies, they had double platinum records, they had publishing, they had a distribution, so many things. And it was the old way. Me myself coming from that, even the sessions that I did, and even having my own green areas, I can tell you the learning curve's huge. You must seek this out, but there should be an easier way to do that, because to really get deep, you're going to spend money for the courses to really get deep, or you're going to pay people to do the playlisting. You're going to pay people to do the terrestrial radio. You're going to pay them for some form of management that you might not even be ready for. So where
Yeah.
do you get this information? They say, yeah, it's free on the internet, but there's a lot of misinformation out there. There's a lot of pieces. You want the whole package, the whole enchilada, how to get that, and then start. Because when somebody does come into your world, you come into their world, the more organized you are, the better their job is. So I think that that would make our industry better if every single app that musicians utilize has within that some of this information to better
Yeah.
use that app with. I don't know.
Yeah. And the trouble is, though, you've got to be very careful about agents as well, because you never know who you're getting, do you? Because they might rip you off. Let's be truthful about it.
I've had agents for years, since I was 15. I've had good agents the whole time. I've never had a trouble with an agent. I started out years ago when I was a teenager. They took 10%. After that, they took 15. Agents agents aren't managers. Agents work for you. Agents have venues that sometimes you don't get that venue without an agent representing. There's places you won't get into. They'll have your back. If you learn how to do things correctly, it'll be good for you. There's a lot of agents online. There are some that aren't. Uh, but I do know that I had an agent that had my back, and if there was a conflict in a contract, he's like, "Hang on, I'll call you right back." Boom, 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 move just like that. He wanted to make money, and we had a good relationship too. And I didn't go through all of the crazy scenarios that a lot of other people did. Some people would say that they're a necessary evil, and I never experienced that.
Right.
I have met people who claim to be agents, and I was sitting in a meeting going, "Okay, this is definitely not an agent," but kept my mouth shut, and I was out of that meeting. I was like, "Okay, moving on," right? But I never went through any trouble with my music, with people in any representing way, representing me with my music. So I was lucky.
Right. Okay. Okay. Good. Um, Maria wants to know what is the best
Hi, Maria.
gig? What is the best gig you ever played?
Mm. Oh, what if some of my friends that are listening that I played with hear this? They're all good. No, okay. Best gig I ever did. Honestly, I think it was in a cruise ship. I think it was in a cruise ship.
Right.
But when you take the time that I put in, because I did a lot of hotels, I did
Mm.
clubs, I had house gigs here. I had a lot of scenarios. But if you take collectively that whole industry and the audience, I was seeing on average about 18,000 people coming on a ship a month. If you're on a 4 or 5 day cruise turnover, you get a lot of people in and out. And there's a lot of relationships that came out of that, a lot of fun. But when you pull it all together, that specific gig, I think, was the best one overall, with audience appreciation and participation and wonderful friendships globally. Because I think on my very first cruise ship, I worked with over 98 nationalities, right? So we'd be eating together and you'd have 6 or 7 conversations going on in different languages all around you, and fun stuff. And then you meet people, and then they find out where you are, and they want to come back on the ship, and they're taking their vacation according to following where you are. And you just start developing these wonderful friendships, and you can go from an extreme crazy rowdy party, crazy night, to a quiet beautiful musical time where they're all feeling romantic and dancing, to nobody's speaking English. You're out of Puerto Rico and there's line dancing going across 1,500 people up around the ship, come back around again. And I'm changing my music styles and having fun with people. Cameras are going off. You're seeing people having fun on vacation. That would be, to me, the most fun gig I've had, because it changed all the time. You got
Okay.
different age categories. And so it was just, the sky was the limit to the kind of audience you had. So yeah, I would say that was.
Okay. Terry wants to know.
Hi, Carrie. Terry? Sorry. Hi, Terry.
Yeah, Terry. Sorry, it's me. Um, was it Sue? Oh yeah. Is there any music style which you do not like?
Hmm. No, no, I don't think so. I haven't found one. I even like rap. I get rap. That's not easy to do, by the way. A lot of people go, oh, what is this? And it's like, no, you need to have a listen before, there's some really clever things going on there. There's a certain way your voice has to be. There's a certain pitch your voice has to be. Rhythm is a certain way. And for the brain to work that way, remember Eminem, oh my goodness, a wonderful talent, to be able to be creative within a thought process while being musical, while being rhythmic, while keeping ahead, while thinking, countering, even if you're rapping back and forth with people. That takes a lot of talent. So I love Latino music. I lived in a Spanish speaking country for 3.5 years, Costa Rica, and I learned a lot of Spanish. But I also learned of the crossover with music. Everybody asks for anything internationally in the language that they're in. Uh, so not really. I think I like all styles of music.
Okay.
Yeah,
Um, what is the saddest song you ever heard?
that is not. There's a classical piece, and I think it's by Samuel Barber. And I'm trying to remember the name of it. It has been on a lot of movies. It's very, very powerful strings, and it's almost like waves of emotion, of a non resolving melody with urgency, and it's like your heart is pouring out. Trying to remember the name of it. In fact, if I could, I guess I can't look it up right now.
Yeah, carry on.
It'll
Yeah.
come to me. I'll think of it, and I will tell you. But even if you look up that composer, you're probably going to run into it.
Yeah, yeah, sure,
Amazing.
yeah.
I think you probably know which one I'm talking about too.
Yeah, probably, yeah, yeah.
I'll think of it.
Uh, where have I got to? Sorry, Claire, you're next, didn't you?
Hi,
Um,
Claire.
what would you do if the audience looked bored during your performance?
I would change exactly what I'm doing. If you look bored, you are bored.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it's like, okay, you better flip what you're doing. That's not working. If you engage with people and you make some sort of a moment where people are responding to you, that's going to change that. So if you need to talk, if you need to bring the audience in, change your song, get up, walk over and start singing and do kind of a question answer where you're singing, you teach a song to people, that changes. That'll get gears going. It's another way to just sort of take whatever's happening there, and rather than falling over on your face, change gears, because it might you're not heading in the you're not giving people what they want.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Um, Ken wants to know.
Ken, hi.
Ken, yeah, Ken, yeah. from Lisbon. Would you agree that it is very important to learn, study, and understand old music and music history?
I think it is. I think that it won't apply to what everyone is doing, but I think that if you understand it, you know where we came from, especially as a writer, you understand where things developed. Because there was a time in history when, in order to uh, play music, well, first off, we couldn't play instruments at one time. We were considered evil if you did.
Yeah, yeah.
You couldn't sing certain pitches. The church determined what pitches could be sung, intervals, and everyone worked for a church. They worked for someone. In fact, the most famous, most successful freelance musician was Beethoven. He worked for himself, but everybody worked under somebody, and rules were in place. So it lets you know how far we've come. And if
Mm,
you take a look at it, it was a troubadours and the Treviers, I believe, brought in the instruments. They created their little bands that they ran around. Women were not allowed to sing; they weren't allowed to play an instrument. And finally, when we came through with some of the music history, look at where we brought in jazz. Remember when the Beatles came out? Of course, we weren't around then. Beatles came out, and people went, "Oh my gosh, what is this? What is this crazy?" You got Elvis on stage dancing around, and they wanted to arrest him, right? You got all of these things came forward. But if you take a look at the history, look where we are today. If you take a look at some of the lyrics, music is a very, very powerful tool to communicate what you want to say and not get arrested. I got to tell you, you can say what you want to say in your lyrics and release a song. And I think only a couple of people have ever been banned for off of a site where they were put back onto it. But if you look in the history, your civil rights are very powerful when you're writing lyrics. Look at the rap. Have you paid attention to some of the things that are spoken there? You can't
yeah,
just get on a microphone and say that to somebody, but you can do it with a rap. And you can say things in a song and you can communicate and tell many, many stories, many, many truths that you might not be able to just go out and do on social media without getting banned. If you really analyze it, history is important to know that we've always somehow overcome your rights being taken away. We've always communicated in before a revolution, musicians always came forward and their music reflected where we were going. um, the arts are funny that way. So I think knowing that history, you can see it over and over and over that we did the same thing over and over again. And we told stories before events happened. We we highlighted areas of wars and revolutions and the history was told in advance through music. Take a look.
yeah, yeah. Brilliant, very good. Um, Hi, Steve. Got a message. Right, okay. Robert Luther King nearly got imprisoned for singing gospel music at one of his crusades. Right, okay. Um, I'll have a look at that.
Did he go
Um,
to prison for it, or he almost did?
oh, he almost did.
Power of music.
Yes, and that's the trouble, though, isn't it? Because back then, it was black, white, and it was like it's probably like stigma going on, the whites didn't like the blacks, and really it's not, you know, but things has changed now. You know what I mean? I've got a lot of friends who are kind of friends and from all different nationalities, and the trouble is, I think it's more acceptable now, but back then it was like, stay away, or we use them to do our gardens or whatever it was, and it was bad because it was rife in America, wasn't it?
Interesting. It's ignorance. We do what we know. We
Yeah,
train people to think a certain way, and it doesn't make us right. At the
yeah,
same time, at the same time, there was a story I was thinking of with Marilyn Monroe. I remember Marilyn Monroe refused to go into a place unless they allowed Ella Fitzgerald in. And I thought, yeah, power to you, lady, because we shouldn't be discriminating that you can go and I can't, or I can go and you can't because there's this difference between us into a place, or uh, or having a judgment in any way, either by your skin color or anything. What is that all about? It makes zero sense to me. It really, really does.
it's just me,
And
it's just me, but
What's
You
that?
know, it does me. I just don't understand it. I think we're all equal. Every one of us is equal, whatever by color, creed, religion. We're all human beings, and we should just live in harmony and peace. That's what I believe in.
What if the differences between us are only related to what you left behind? Who's going to remember you and why? What did you do while you were here?
Yeah,
What if that's the only thing that needs to be highlighted? Because once you do that, I'll tell you, nobody cares anything about what you look like. What they care about is how you made somebody feel, what you left behind, what you made to grow and better for the world. And I hate to leave here and have no one ever think of me. It's just not cool,
don't worry,
So
I will think of you, Angela.
that should be the only thing that we can discriminate is that did you do something? Was there purpose? Did you actually do something? Did you get up today and do something?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
if
yeah,
we thought that way, I don't think we would have some of the problems we have out there.
yeah. Okay. There's two more I've got to
Okay.
ask.
This is fun, by the way. I'm enjoying this.
That's okay. Philippa wants to know.
Philipper?
Yeah, Philippa. Yeah.
Philipper, hello.
She's from the UK. Hello, Philippa. Um, would it be possible you can ask Angela this question? Um, I heard earlier that about Celine Dion being mentioned.
Mhm.
If she, if Angela had the chance to sing with Celine Dion, would she?
Oh, see, I love her, but I think that she's so much of a better singer than me that I might go, oh, the cane is going to take me off the stage. If I could sing with her, oh yeah, I would love to. But I just think that if I did, you would really hear how much she's a much better singer than me. I would never turn that down. I mean, I will tell you, no, no, I don't want to do that because she's so wonderful. But yeah, I would definitely not turn it down. If you really push came to shove and you put Celine in front of me, I'd be, oh, first I want to see her concert. But absolutely, what an honor it would be. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I years ago, I I was a great big fan of Celine Dion, like with Amsterdam, and I saw her in concert a few times, and she's lovely, lovely person. Okay,
Can I
Richard.
share
All right,
something with you for two
yeah,
seconds?
carry on. Yeah,
The
carry
thing
on.
is, Celine Dion, her family, they had a touring music company. She came from a very large family, and
Yeah,
her parents
yeah.
owned a piano bar. So I think that makes her even really cool. I like piano bars. Since I did
You,
it for years. So anyway, I
you,
had to add
you,
that.
you just go. Well, yeah. See, the trouble is, you know, um, before we go to our next question, if you don't mind. If sometimes I see people going to like train stations, railway stations, or where there's a piano and people just play it. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And people do enjoy music because live music is what people's been missing for the last few years. Do you agree?
I agree. And thank God we have the online because it's live, but it lets you attach to people. If you're alone, you still get to see people live. They're moving around. You get stories, you get text, you get some form of communication. So it's still live. It's just not physically in the room where you can see someone's entire body, see their shoes, look around, look at everybody. That I think was missing.
Okay. Right. Okay. To finish off with, I'm going to kind of like mention a couple people who's in the music industry, and what you do is just kind of like let me know what you think of them. All right.
Okay.
Okay. So here we go. Elton John.
I love them.
Right. Okay.
Okay, I'll
Uh,
tell you why though. I'm going to tell you why I love him.
okay.
Elton John, he co-wrote his music. Uh, but Elton John moved around. Smart business, very, very smart in business.
Mm,
I don't know how many, I think it was like 20 years or something since he was in the very top in the charts. And then he did this with Dua Lipa. He's a smart man. Uh, Started
wait.
as a teenager,
Mm,
but it's more than just his music. He has all this classical overtones in his piano playing. So yeah, love him.
yeah. Okay. Cliff Richard.
Oh, love his music. Absolutely. Love his pop. I sing some of his stuff too. Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah. Um, where we got to? Barry Manilow.
I love Barry Manilow. Do you know Barry Manilow actually owns a company called Stiletto Entertainment? And on one of my cruise ships, when I was on Holland America, I met musicians and they said that that was their agent. I was like, really? I didn't know that he did that. So yeah, another smart businessman. Yeah,
Yeah.
wonderful. Yeah,
Oh,
pianist and singer.
brilliant. And here we go. Whitney Houston.
I love Whitney Houston. I miss Whitney Houston. Powerful singer. And she took many, many risks with her voice. You know, she was big up there like Barbara Streisand at the time.
Yeah.
Bigger. I think she became bigger in a lot of the things that she did. It's very, very sad what happened to her. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I sing a lot of Whitney Houston.
Yeah. 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 I noticed that. Yeah.
You know
Um.
what? I actually got to tell you something. A song that I'm going to release, I wrote influenced by when she passed away in 2012. The day that I heard about that, I was on a Disney ship, and I was like, I was so sad. I heard about it in the afternoon. I was like, really, seriously? Or it was early evening or something, and it was my day off the next day, and I stayed up all night long and I wrote a song, and it's called "She Is the Songbird." I never released it, but I've actually performed it, and I'm going to release it. But it's really symbolic of her. It's about a songbird, but you don't know that it's her. But that influenced me. In fact, that's the only artist I've ever written something, whether it be symbolic. That's the only one I've ever really written about.
You should release it.
I know. I'm going to. In fact, I was going to release it here right away, and I bumped it for another one I'm going to release first. I keep bumping it. Isn't that weird? I
Thank you.
performed it a couple of times, actually.
Yeah.
I'll play it for you sometime.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If you could do. Angela, thank you so much
You're
for
very welcome.
that. Was quick. It always is quick, but
That was fun.
I love having you on. And
Oh,
sorry about the questions and everything.
you know what? I love questions. I love that. I just, you know, what are we doing if we're not asking questions, right?
Yeah.
I mean, my turn. No, I'm just kidding.
You can ask what you want. Yeah. You
No,
can ask
I
me.
like it. It's open exchange, and I learned a lot. You learn about the things that you don't realize you think about, too. You know, one of
Yeah.
my favorites here, I'm a very eclectic, and I think I have like 50 favorite songs, and it depends on my mood. And then when I get a question like that, I'm like, oh, okay, zeroing in on narrowing that down.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
been wonderful. Thank you so much.
That's all right. Next
And thank
time.
you to everyone for your questions and for joining in. And I really appreciate it. It's wonderful. And I like also that you're asking me musical questions because music makes the world turn around, in my opinion.
It
It's the
does.
one thing attached to all of our lives since our childhood that brings all those memories that nothing else will. So power in music.
It
It's
does.
fun.
And please go to Angela's website and also subscribe to her. And
Thank you. And that's angelicasmusic.com. My stage name is Angelica.
that's
There's too
it.
many
Yeah.
Angela Johnsons. So if you do go to my site, angelicasmusic.com, Angelica with a C. And you get
Right.
a free download of a song if you go there. I'll need your email for it, so it'll instantly send to you. And if you
Yeah.
don't mind that, please do.
Go and get your free download.
Yeah.
I would recommend a
And
song.
follow me on Spotify, please. I'm in a red dress. Yeah. You know, there's a few
Okay. You're in a red
Angelicas.
dress.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Thank
Brilliant.
you.
Thank you so much. And next time, what I want to do is, can if you could kind of like play the piano for us, that'd be great.
I would love to.
All
Maybe
right.
next time I'll actually, you know what I'll do? I will perform for you She Is the Songbird. Because I
Brilliant.
tracked the whole thing. I'd finished it. And in the end, when I released everything, I held it back.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'll do it for you.
Thank you
Why
so
not?
much.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. And thank you. This is always fun.
Yeah. Thank you. And love to Frank for me, won't you?
I will.
All right.
And hugs from both of us to you too.
Yeah. Thank you
To
so
both
much.
of you. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Bye. Bye,
Bye
everyone.
bye.
Thank you so much. Have a great night.
God bless. Bye bye.
God bless.